as she is known, Juliet is the founder and the CEO of the Bla Xit. She's engaged in so many things, I can say. She's also, you know, a media practitioner. I can say she's an Africanist. I will not call her a black activist, but an Africanist. And Juliet has also engaged in so many projects as a project manager in both public and private, funds that Juliet were managing. She has worked for so many NGOs, organizations, individually, and also for me, as I see, she's a caring mother and a caring sister. That's an additional. So I think from Juliet, you can start the press conference as you are the main host. Yeah, thank you very much.
Sure. Well, firstly, I'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you that has attended here today. So, big up GTTV.
Fourier newspaper.
Fourier newspaper.
Standard newspaper.
Standard newspaper.
Fatu Network.
Fatu Network.
The Voice newspaper.
The Voice newspaper.
Yeah. And the Africa Citizen.
And the Africa Citizen.
And also the Point newspaper.
And also the Point newspaper. Big yourself up. Yay! So, yeah, I'm a little bit informal, as you know. If you watch Bla Xit, you can see that, you know, I'm here because I love you. I love Africa. And mostly, I love Africans. And my heart is Gambian. My DNA is Gambian. My blood is Gambian, and my belly is Benachin. And you know, and my breakfast is chakari. So I'm just gonna start by telling you a little short story just about me, so you know who I am, because you might think, who's this mouthy woman come from England to be coming here since 2011 and she thinks she is coming to wreck the place? No, far from that. The first time I came to the Gambia, I never had such a moving experience, even though I've been coming to Africa since I was 22, but when I hit the Gambia, my soul, my spirit, everything in me moved. You know, Gambians moved me. They said, when I got through the airport, after I bent down and kissed the ground, people thought I was nuts. But I bent down and I kissed the ground and they said, welcome back to your spiritual home. When they said those words to me, they resonated with my whole being. When I looked around and I thought, this place is pretty, this place is like, whoa. And that was like one of the most magnanimous, most interesting experiences I had. It was a life-changing experience. It was a life-moving experience. And so from there, I've been coming to Gambia, and that was since 2011 till now. I live here permanently now. But as for who I am, I'm a business developer. So I was born in England, educated in England, raised as in a very strong Caribbean family. My grandma, she was Jamaican, born of Gambian descent without a doubt. My grandma said cucumber, yeah? Cucumber, you know, and flim. And those are words that now resonate with me now I'm here. She never used to say potato properly, yeah? She never used to. And I never worked out why she couldn't say it until I came here and I heard the word for potato and soble and other words, you know, and horon and so on. So I realized there's a deep connection between us and the Caribbean. And my grandma talked about my great-great-grandparents, Julius Griffiths, and also my great-great-grandmother, whose name is Emily Wright, but we called her Suzanne Wright, but we called her Ma and Papa. And so the Griffiths family is huge. Julius Griffiths had a lot of children. And one of the things that was always shared throughout and down our heritage is that we're Gambian, that we originated from Gambia. We also had similar food. We eat yam, sweet potato, green banana, You know, we would have callaloo, which is equivalent to like, you know, your moringa leaves and everything. So there's so many similarities between us. We still eat the same curry goat that you eat, yeah? There's so many similarities in our culture. We eat rice like it's going out of fashion. And I know that's a Gambian thing, yeah? And so basically my history is just that I was educated in the UK. I went to university in the UK, but I realized the UK was not for me because we're never ever made to feel welcome, not from school, not from nursery even. We face racism at nursery. Where you know, you could have your hand up all day, that teacher is not answering you. Yeah, even if you've got the answer, you could be the brightest child in the class and you still be overlooked. And in fact, you'll be picked on as a victim. And so that's the kind of racism that we face. That's why you have so many high exclusions of black children in England. That's why you've got so much high unemployment and so many, thank you, darling. It's all right. And that's the reason why we have so many issues with racism, because I'm going to be honest with you, racism is real. A lot of us are coming back to Gambia now. My history is that I worked for several companies in England, and I also worked in the public sector within education. And my last job, working job, I actually worked for a university in Essex, and it was one of the most racist environments, most hostile environments, and worst experiences I ever had. And I said to myself, I can't take it no more. My children were also terribly racially abused. It was reported in all of the newspapers, also in mainstream press from the BBC all the way up to I was on This Morning, on ITV, on Fox News. It was in the Sun newspaper, Mirror newspaper, The Guardian, The Standard. It was literally reported everywhere. But as a result of that, I became a target. And I also protested. I've always been a pro-reparationist. I've always said it's time for black people to get back. It's time for the West to pay back for slavery. Gambia should be one of the most wealthiest nations in the world because so many of our ancestors were taken here. So if they were to compensate, you should get that money back. And also we as black people in England, we've been paying compensation to that very same those very same enslavers. Up until 2015, we've had to pay taxes, and we have had no remit. We haven't been able to get any kind of tax rebate at all. So imagine we had to pay compensation to the enslavers of our ancestors. That's the kind of environment that you're living in. And the royal family don't get off the hook because they're also very much involved in slavery. And we're calling on African nations to come together through the African Union and other organisations, through the Free Trade Union, to start organising the call for reparations because it's needed. Now, Bla Xit has come out of that because in my last interview, which was on Sky TV, which was all about a footballer, I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Raheem Sterling. Anybody heard of Raheem Sterling, the footballer? Yeah? Okay, so Raheem Sterling was racially abused, and I was invited onto Sky News, and I went onto Sky News and I spoke out about racism, and I was put on the television quite regularly on regular intervals. As a result of that, my face now became very familiar, and I then became targeted. Targeted to the extent that I had to stay in my house for 3 weeks with closed curtains. At that point, I was also going through terrible racism with my son, Kafre, and my other son, who was going through horrific racism. On his last day of school, they decided to put the N-word on his back, call him a coon twice, and told us that we must go back to the jungle. So it was at that point I said, you know what, I'm going back to the jungle because the jungle's better than here. And so, well, if you know, you call it. If you're in a cold place with hostile people, it's very harsh. And when your children are suffering, you're suffering. My son woke up in tears and he said to me, Mum, I can't take it anymore, I want to go home. We were homeschooling him because he couldn't go to school because of the violence that he faced. He was hitting his face so hard that he was hospitalized because of racism. He was called the N-word every day, he was abused racially every day. And you know, our children shouldn't have to go through that. So as a result, we came here. So when I was on the news, I told everybody that it's not about the Brexit, it's about the BlaXit. And so the term BlaXit was then launched in the media, and then it became rather prolific, and then a movement started. Why? Because just like we said on ITV this morning, we were leaving, so we left. Now we're here, and we're loving Gambia. We're loving Gambian people. A prolific blogger called Woda Maya came to the Gambia. Has anyone heard of Woda Maya? Yeah. Yes? Okay. So Wodamaya has like nearly 300,000 subscribers, and he has something in excess of like 8 million followers. And when Wodamaya heard about me through my brother Seth, and he came and he interviewed me, and as a result of the interview, which you might have heard of, in which I said that England is a dump and Africa is paradise, and I was talking about the Gambia, in case you thought, that interview, because of iGambia and lots of you platforms that are right here today, I want to thank you. You sent that interview viral. On iGambia alone, it got 1.2 million views. And through all of your online networks, which I can say you all shared because I saw it, so I want to thank you, we went viral with over 4.4 million views. And you got to remember, I'm no superstar, so I must be saying something right. So basically, I started blogging because Wodamaya set up the Bla Xit channel on YouTube. That was just about 3 months ago. And within 3 months, we've got over 19,000 subscribers, which is prolific and never heard of before. And this is all because I'm showing the best of the Gambia. I'm showing you guys. And as a result of that, we have 200 people that want to invest substantial amounts of money in projects to create employment and to create even standpipes, reservoirs, processing plants, manufacturing processing plants, distribution plants, refrigeration plants, agriculture and agricultural hardware such as tractors and so on to the Gambia. And they also want to invest in the tourism industry as well, and especially education. Education is key, as well as the infrastructure, road infrastructure, transport infrastructure. And the AU will be coming here as a result of I gave a, what did I call it? And I gave a contribution. I'm trying to make myself not seem so big, but you know. I gave a contribution to the African Union on October 12th. As a Diasporan in the Gambia, to put Gambia on the map for the AU in terms of inward investment for the development plan here in the Gambia. I'm happy to announce today that that was successful, and they will be coming here in March 2020. I thought it was April, I got the date wrong when they called me yesterday, and told me they're actually coming in March 2020. So that means that Gambia now will be earmarked as part of their trade mission, development mission, and hopefully will be receiving a lot of development funds inwards. And this is all part of the Diaspora. So basically that brings me to where I am now, which is the CRC and the draft constitution, which is why we're all here. So I've done my introduction, so you know a little bit about me. Right, what is my concern? My concern, I think, is the same as everybody else's concern, but I'm going to pass these mics down because I've talked too much. But the reason why I went on QTV, Paradise TV, GRTS, and I'm here with all of you now is because we're worried. I'm talking on behalf of my 19,000 followers. Well, actually, I've got 2.2 million followers, sorry, but 19,000 subscribers. And I'm talking on behalf of the 2.2 million and also the 19,000 who all love the Gambia. Okay, we love the Gambia. We want to be a part of the Gambia, and we want to develop the Gambia. Gambia has scope for 5 million people that could make Gambia the most, if you like, developed and super city, super world country in the world. If we could get that investment here, you wouldn't have to have any unemployment here if we could do this, and we want to do this. There'll be no more poverty here if we could do this. And we know people don't want us to do this, but the diaspora bring in more income than you'd ever believe. Just yearly alone, 1.8 trillion is generated within the black community in America. In the UK, it's 800 million is generated yearly, annually, that is, by the black community. So imagine if just 1/4 of that was to come to the Gambia. Do you think it would benefit the Gambia? Right, I think so too. So that is a strategy. I think with aid you have conditions. With us, you have unconditional love. So when we read the draft constitution, one of our concerns was, firstly, section 16 about citizenship. We were taken from these shores. We didn't have a choice. We were forcefully kidnapped, willfully against our will. We were tortured and You know, our ancestors were murdered, some made it, some didn't, whole families were taken, babies, children, women, men. They took the best of the best from the continent, and especially from here in the Gambia. And this is where we come from. And my DNA and my parents tell me that I'm from the Gambia, so I'm Gambian by descent. However, it's not mentioned in your constitution. It's like the CRC talk about inclusiveness, but they've excluded us. CRC talk about inclusiveness, but we're not mentioned. It's like we were taken in slavery and then we're just forgotten. No one came back for us. It's like no one cares. We are a part of your family. We are a part of your society. We are a part of you. We are eating, drinking, sleeping, living, employing, and working with you and trying to help build the Africa that we want everybody to be a part of. And that is an authentic Africa. We're not here to westernize Africa. We're here to be African in Africa. And we need you to welcome us here. So the concern that we have also is section 257 and 258, which comes under land ownership. And we have land here, and we have our home here. We've been building our home here with Gambian builders, and we have a Gambian business partner. We have a business just straight down here, not far. And you know, we work with a lot of Gambians. We've actually created employment probably for about 15 Gambians, and many Diasporian families had the same story, because we build, we develop, and we love to be a part of society, and especially with training and development. Right now, Melo, and he's with us. So, you know, this is very much a part of what we are and why we're here. So section 257 and section 258 concern us. Why? Because it states that non-citizens, and we are non-citizens because we're now appealing for automatic citizenship. That's why I'm here. Honourable Khalifa Saleh said it's our birthright. Honourable Khalifa Saleh said that we shouldn't be begging, we should be demanding. Honourable Khalifa Saleh spoke sense, because I called him crying. I was in tears when I called Khalifa Saleh, because I just done an interview for another media outlet in Europe, and during the interview he played the clips of the ceremony of people in Ghana receiving their citizenship, and I had a tantrum. Yeah, I'm a big baby. I had a tantrum. I went into one, I was crying, and I called Honourable Khalifa Saleh, because I found it inconsolable, because I want my citizenship too. I had a tantrum. I said, I want that, and he goes to me, sorry, who is this? I said, it's Juliet. And I want one. He said, Juliet, what is the problem? He goes, be calm, be calm. I want citizenship. I don't believe in Gambian. I love Gambian. I don't give me no citizenship, but I want to be a citizen. And I cried, and he said to me, Juliet, he said to me, you know, do not give up. Do not fear. You know, be positive. And I said, okay. But it made me realise just how outsider I feel, how outside of society I feel here. We're given alien cards, we have to pay for our residency every year and our work permits every year. And we're treated the same as, you know, two Barbs, we're treated the same as every foreigner that comes to this land. We're not treated as though we're black, we're not treated as though we're Africans, we're certainly not treated as though we're Gambians. And so that's why we're appealing to His Excellency Adama Barrow, and we're appealing to Chief of Protocol also to give us audience with Adama Barrow. We're appealing to the National Assembly to also give us an audience with them, to put our points forward about why it's important for us who own land here, us who are homeowners here, us who have our children going to school here, us who contribute daily to the fabric and economy of the Gambia, to be welcomed here and to receive automatic citizenship. It worked in Israel. Look at Israel now. Ghana. Look at Ghana now. Ghana had over $500 million of investment in this year since they've done the year of return. And also, they've had also 778,000 visitors. Now, this could have been the year of return to my roots here in the Gambia. This could have been the year of back to my roots in the Gambia. This could be our year. And so all we need is really to work together to make it happen, because, you know, we came here just like everybody else. as heritage tourists. And heritage tourism is what really binds us to Africa. The story of Alexalian roots binds us to Gambia. So if you invoke section 257 and 258, effectively you make us outsiders. You're telling us we can only own our land for 30 years? Are you telling me I can't, where's my land gonna go? Where's my money gonna go? Where's my inward investment gonna go? I don't know what kind of system this is. I don't know how it works for us. And I've not had an explanation if this applies to us or not. But if it does apply to us, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble, because if we're building our homes and after 30 years we have to go and give our homes after 30 years to a Gambian, would you do that? Would you do that? I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you came to England and I said, okay, you bought your home, you've paid for your home, you've built your home, you can stay in your home, but you can only stay in it for 30 years and then you have to go and give it to an Englishman, would you do it? No. Would you go there and live? No. Would you go there and stay? No. Let's be practical about this. When I'm talking to the Gambian community, I'm talking at large, because this affects us all. And I do understand that there are areas here that they might not even understand what I'm saying, because, you know, and I'm not speaking in a native tongue, and I wish I was. And I'm learning Wolof, and I'm trying to learn Mandinka, I'm trying to learn everything, because, you know, I want to be able to communicate as best I can. But I come through slavery. Yeah, I come through a colonial land. We come through you know, sugarcane plantations. We come through years of hardship. My grandma came to England as an economical migrant and was called Monkey nearly every day she lived there until she returned back. So, you know, this is no easy stance for me to even sit here and do this. So, section 258 also deprives us of our ability to be Gambian and to live the same as Gambians, and this is why we're frightened. And so I have many people here sitting at the table, you know, and there are other people outside that I wish would come and sit on the table, like Sister Shanice, and join us, because you weren't here when we were sitting up, so I want you to come up, because I want you to have a say. She is part of the media out there in England, and she's part of Galaxy FOE, who is a station with Dr. Abu and Chief Kambabai, who helped support us when we were going through terrible racism. So I'm just pleading and pleading with you. The reason why I called this press conference is to ask you to consider us to be the exception to the rule for section 258 and 257. I'm asking you to consider us as Gambians who left your shores hundreds of years ago, but our DNA didn't leave, and our blood didn't leave, our spirit didn't leave, our ancestors didn't leave. Some of them are washed up in the sea. But I'm asking you to consider us and to give us automatic citizenship, so that this doesn't affect us negatively, because if not, we're going to have to go. We can't stay, and we want to stay. This is our home and we love it, but we can't stay. If you're going to take everything away, we can't stay. If you're going to dispossess us, I can't stay. How can I stay in somewhere that doesn't welcome us? How can I stay in somewhere that doesn't want us? We can't stay. We're not here to take away anything from you. We're not here. We just said, just make us an exception. If you want to put that into place, that I don't come here to question your rules. I don't come here to break any rules. I don't come here to question the president. I don't come here to question the government. What I'm asking is for us to make us an exception and to allow us to make, you know, Gambia excellent in the world. I want everybody to know about Gambia. That's why I put out nearly 70 videos so far about the Gambia. Just watch BlaXit and you'll see. I love Gambia. I love you in my heart and my spirit and my soul. When I wake up here, I wake up happy. I don't want to wake up nowhere else. I wake up happy. My spirit is rested. My soul is rested here. Let me live here. Let me stay here. Let me grow my children here. Let me, please. Please. This is not fair on us. We're black. We're black, we're Africans, we are Gambians, understand this. We shouldn't be here talking about this. We shouldn't have to beg. How many people die in the back way trying to get away? How many people? We don't want that to happen. Let us come and make opportunities. Let us bring our money here, please.
Yeah, that's okay. BlaXit family. It's great that we all gathered here for this moment, you know. And as just my wife is emotional because of what's happening. So I would like everyone here to just give her a round of applause for the work that she's been doing. She's been working tirelessly, you know, so that our voice will be heard. For me, I have a different story. I'm born in the Caribbean, you know, and I've seen what's going on here. I've seen it in the Caribbean, you know, and as I keep saying, our foreparents was taken away from these shows. So we coming back to Africa is our foreparents coming back. So I'm just asking the government just to consider, because really we shouldn't even be in this position today, because they had no right to rescind our citizenship, because our ancestors never gave it up. Right? It was never given up by our ancestors. And the crime that was committed here against our people by the West, by England and America, is a crime that's still unsolved. And the African government need to take this into consideration, and they need to go back and try and solve that murder crime. You know, that kidnap that was committed against us. Not to tell us coming back that we need to wait 15 years for citizenship, that we already have our citizenship through the color of our skin. We've been black, we've been taken from here. You know, and we should be coming back here with automatic citizenship. We are Kunta Kinte coming back. We're not coming back as Toby. We're coming back as Kunta Kinte. That's who we are coming back to Africa. You know, we shouldn't come back and make these laws to say, oh, you have to wait this time for citizenship. No, we shouldn't even have that. It should have been there for us. From the day we leave the shores of Africa, the doors of our citizenship should have remained open. I shouldn't even have to be here having this debate today. So I'm pleading with the African government just to see, and those who are making those constitutions, I want them to realize that their lineage could have been the one that born in the West. You know, we're all the same people. You know, it's our great-great-great-grandmother, grandfather that came from Africa, only 4 generations away. So how is the door shut for us and our citizenship? Anywhere in West Africa we want to go and settle down, we should do so. Because Africa itself failed to hold a record of those that was enslaved. You know, so how do we know where we come from? So that's why it's for us to come back. We should come back to any part of West Africa and set up without any implications. We don't have to be going to the same system as an Indian or Chinese or a white person. We are black people coming back home. The West had no right to come here and take us away. You know? And yeah, it's Africa. I don't think y'all have ever reached back out for us. So now we're coming back home on our own. We need your support. We shouldn't have to go through this today. You know, we're coming back to help the community. You know, since I was in the Caribbean, I never feel settled in the Caribbean. I was born on the island of Montserrat. Montserrat in 1995, the volcano became active. And that's why I ended up in England. But why? You know, you took us from Africa and take us to the Caribbean. That every year the Caribbean faced different natural disasters. You know, and the West haven't done nothing. If you look at the last one in Bahamas, what did they do? Look at the hurricane destroy the lives of thousands and thousands of black people. And what did the President of America do? Turn a boat back when they was going to America for refuge. Their ancestors took us there. You know, they took us there, and now they don't want us there. So now we're coming back to Africa, we're not going to be rejected, and our voice is going to be heard. You know, because we're coming home. Our ancestors never gave up their citizenship when they leave these shores in bondage. So you all should not tell us, but wait, no time for no citizenship. Because we are our ancestors coming back. The blood of our ancestors run through us. The same blood that run to the African run through us in the West. And I demand my citizenship. You know, I demand it. And many of us sitting here, they're singing the same song as me. You know, we're coming back home. We are Kunta Kinte, we're coming back. You know, the last time they take us and change our name, they want to call him Toby. You know, but we are Kunta Kinte. If we have to give up all those names they give us in the West, we will do so. You know, so we're coming home. And I want my brothers and sisters here know that when we come home, we're coming back home to put the best into Africa. We're not coming here to take like any other race. We're coming to bring back the resources that they stole from us, bring it back here. That's why we're here. I mean, for us, we employ how many Gambians? And everyone sitting here, they have a business. You know, and they employ Gambians. You know, we love the people. We love the culture. You know, we are the people. This is who we are. So anywhere in West Africa, we should be welcome without any issues. You know, and this government have to realize that. You should have never closed the door to us coming back. Because you know that one day we will be coming back. 400 years they took us away. The white man never shows any respect. Never shows any respect in the West. The news tell you that. You could see it. No respect they have ever shown us. So now we're coming back home, we need our brothers and sisters to respect us because we work very hard in the West to come back and share our wealth with our brothers and sisters here on the continent. Yeah? So thank you all for your time. And I hope the Gambians understand what we are saying. We are not here to take, but we are here to give back. All right? Oh yes, and I also want to make an announcement. Tomorrow will be the last meeting for the CRC. And that meeting will be in
the youth monument.
In the youth monument in Canifin, yeah?
So we're asking everybody to go.
So we're appealing for everyone to come out and support us so that we can sit down there and have our say. Because this constitution should have never written us out. We should have always been included because we're African. By blood, we are African, you know?
My name is Kiffa and I'm from the UK, and I've been facing a lot of racism in the UK. So I came here and I enjoyed the schools here. I enjoy Africa more than England because all the things they were doing to me. They were calling me the N-word and they called my papa the N-word. And we faced a lot of racism in England, so we had to come here. and they were about to enslave us again, so we just came back here. Came back home to Africa. And
we want to be welcome.
The best. Yes, and we want to be welcomed here and
be a part
we should be a part of Africa and having good life and having good relationships and having happy birthdays in Africa.
You don't supposed to be there at all. So welcome us, make us feel welcome, and we can do a lot of things because we know a lot of people. We know millions of people who wants to come here, but not under this note. So try and see if things can go a bit better, and we get a lot of people here. I just get caught up in this, so I don't have much to say.
My name is Matthew Hypolite. I'm the owner of Hypolite Resort, which is just up the road from here. I've been here now for the last, say, 15 years. 13, 14, 15 years. So coming to Gambia, as I said, within the second week, I put my investment into Gambia because I felt I was at home. But, you know, I'm a bit disappointed, really. A little bit like Julia, I am disappointed. I'm disappointed because in England, I'm called an alien. In Gambia, I'm called an alien. Do I look like an alien?
No.
I thought aliens were people who came out of the sky and had big ears and aerials coming out of their head. That's not me. I consider myself a brother from another mother. A mother that was taken away many, many years ago. And I've returned on her behalf. I'm speaking on her behalf. My concern is that the investment I put into this country is not for myself. I don't know how many years I have to live. It's for my children and my children's children. And my investment is the same as many other people who come from the diaspora. They come here not on holiday. When you see people of our complexion come here, most of the time it's not on holiday. We come here seeking a home. And as far as we're concerned, this is our home. So when we're told that we're aliens, when we're made to feel unwelcome, when we're made to, as it says within the proposed constitution, that our inheritance cannot be passed on unless our grandchildren are Gambians, how possible can that be that we would want to come here? This morning someone rang me from England and they said, Matthew, listen, we've been hearing all these things about Gambia and the constitution. Let us know what's happening. Well, what's happening from our point of view is that we don't believe, as it's within the draft constitution, that we should be having to marry to become a citizen. As Juliet said before on that subject, one's shoes don't fit all. Some people are already married. Some people are here and they don't have 15 years to live continually. People come to this country and park some of the times they need to go home for medical care, or they have other problems that they need to deal with, so they have to go. So does that mean that they're not eligible for citizenship? They should be eligible for citizenship. You know, We're here to support Gambia and to live with Gambia. We're not here to take from Gambia, as many societies do, like the Chinese society, like some of the other societies that are here. When a Chinese man has an investment in this country, it's an investment that only entails having Chinese workers do it. When some of these fishing villages that you see along the coast go out, when some of the fishermen go out, they encounter Chinese boats that cut their net and are treating them very disrespectfully, taking away the food from them. I don't want to target one community by just saying Chinese, Chinese, but we're not here like that. We are here to support Gambia. We're here to live with you as people that are returning, your brothers and sisters that are returning from a very long, hard journey that we've faced. A very long journey. So I'm not speaking on my behalf alone. I'm speaking on behalf of your great-great-grandparents. But we don't want to be caught in that same net. We want you to see us as your brothers returning. So we want us to be an exception because we are an exception. We're not the people who are coming here to exploit. We're the people who are coming here to be coming home, to give, not to take. And we've been given that. In my case, as far as the project is concerned, Hypolite Village, we give every single day. We've employed well over 100 people during the period that we're there. We've made shops where there were no shops before, and Gambians are in those shops employed. They're employed by Gambians who've rented those shops. We have activities that try not to be one of these resorts that's all-inclusive. We take the money and you see nothing. We have a venue in there that has hundreds of people coming every single week to activities. We had the wrestling face-off there. If you ask any Gambian who is within this vicinity, whether they know Hypolite, any young Gambian, they know us. They know us because we are part of them. And that's the type of thing that we want to do individually or collectively. We want to give back, and we want to give whatever knowledge or information that we have, we want to give that to you. So you grow with us and we grow with you. Because we know what's happening to us and what's been happening to us in the West, and we can forecast what's happening here and what's going to possibly happen in the future. So we want to give you that knowledge. We want to give you the experience that we have to carry you forward with us. We are not here to take, as been said before. We're here to give. And we just want you to understand that, look at us as we are. We are the same as you are. And as I said, we're brothers from another mother. That mother was taken away in ships many, many years ago. She was enslaved. She was taken to my island in the Caribbean, which I came from. And I'm of a generation like Danny and like my brother here. I'm of a generation who was born in the Caribbean, who's lived in England for a time, and who have now come back to Gambia. We have reversed that triangle. And there are many people who want to reverse that triangle. Don't close the door on us because you feel you're threatened. You're not threatened by us. So understand, you're not threatened by us. As far as this constitution is concerned, we're asking that what's been put into the constitution now is changed. Change before that constitution is taken to parliament. Change before the ministers who don't even know us is considering that constitution, so that at the end of the day, they actually see us as an exception, and they, in whatever way, they decide that these people are our family returning and they treat us in a different way. That's all we're asking for. That's what I'm asking.
We're living in a very historic time now, and we're living in a time of change. I don't think many of us who are here today would have thought we would see the type of movement that's taking place in terms of brothers and sisters in the diaspora looking to return to Africa. However, we are in that day. We are in that time. Our ancestors have prayed for this day to return to the motherland. That day is happening. Many of our brothers and sisters throughout Africa pray to go to the West. all right? Your prayers are being answered in the return. We're bringing the West to Africa. And what I mean by that is the best. You know, when we were brought to America, we weren't brought there just to sit around. They got the best people from Africa to build the West. The scientists, the architects, the mathematicians, the teachers, every area of endeavor was they systematically took people from Africa. So when you look around today and you see Africa the way it is, it's like that because many of the people who could have made a change were taken away. So now we're seeing a time where those people are returning to actually bring about a change. Even to think that, you know, our return is a threat to, you know, African, you know, Gambians. I mean, when you think about it, us coming back here, someone coming back like myself or anyone, we're coming back to reconnect with our heritage. You can't say the same for the Indian. I don't have anything against them. I mean, if you're gonna open your door and let someone come in and take your food out your refrigerator, you open the door. You know, so, and not that we can't work together, but at the same time, we have to get to a level and be on an even playing field. So that's where we come in. We come back with ourself and our wealth and knowledge so that we can create businesses and work together with our Gambian brothers and sisters to take advantage and create opportunities. We are Kunta Kinte. We are Kunta Kinte returning. And in that return, we want to feel, during the previous administration, there was a lot of fear from business owners and people looking to invest here that their investment wouldn't be secure. We are experiencing the same thing now. We're concerned. We're like, hey, listen, if we come and we invest our money here and build businesses and build houses, you know, is that going to be secure for us? And it shouldn't be that way. So in closing, you know, just me, myself, you know, coming here, I've worked with at least 50 Gambians. When I came over, I did a free class. I told people to tell their friends to come if they wanted to learn business and organization. You know, they can come to my compound. You know, I give them transportation. You know, I fed them. You know, I also, you know, some people ended up working for me. But that's what we look to do. We look to come here and work with our brothers and sisters to actually build and create the future that we are, that many people are trying to escape and go to the Western experience. So, you know, we are Kunta Kinte. We are Kunta Kinte. We're not different. We must tear down the colonial borders within our mind in terms of seeing ourselves as being different. We need to be one family, one Africa.
Yeah.
So, yes, thank you. I'll pass it on. And like I said, it's really a historic time, and the opportunity, the young people, you must understand that your prayers are being answered. Your prayers are being answered. I spoke with a Gambian partner of mine, and he said, you know, when the other, you know, Indians, or when they come into the country, they don't buy homes. You know, they get businesses. You know, they rent. They take all of their money and send it out of the country, right? So, if Gambia, if we can shake hands with the Chinese man, if we can shake hands with the Indian and the Arab and these other nationalities of people that we do business with that's importing these things, certainly we can shake hands with our brothers and sisters in diaspora to come home and reconnect and help build.
To everyone. My name is Tony Moses, and I'm from Jamaica. Jamaica is a little island in the Caribbean, 150 miles long by 50 miles wide at the longest and the widest point. It goes up to 7,402 feet at the highest point. It has a population of just over 1 million, a little over 2 million, I should say, but over 1 million, well over 1 million. And out of that million people, out of those million people, we have very many concerned Africans who has been living on that island for many, many years. And when we go back into our history, we can also identify that some of those Africans came there long before Columbus did. Now, my first time when I came to Africa, and I met the youths on the street, the average African citizen in Gambia, everybody said, welcome Tony Moses, welcome sir, welcome my brother, welcome Rasta, welcome to Africa. You and us are the same. Jamaica and Gambia are the same. We are the same people, the same blood. Now, if the people in the streets can recognize this, why is there such a difficulty with a government that is supposed to be representing the will of the people and securing their inalienable rights? Why? I mean, the people can recognize it. It should be echoing through the government that we are one. It's not hard to understand that we are one. And I need not come here to beg and to plead whether we're supposed to be here. Everyone in the world knows that we are Africans and we're supposed to be here. Of course, I want to say Gambia, but I'm talking about the continental Africa. No one can say we're from Gambia. I know my mom looked just like any African out there on the street. Yeah? And if she does, I am her offspring. And my rights is here. My rights is also in Jamaica because we have worked for that estate. So the Africans has estate both sides of the Atlantic. This is what some people are afraid of. The Africans got the Americas, North and South America, and all the islands in between. And the Africans have the mainland here, which we call Africa, the continent of Africa. And that's without any kind of explanation to anybody. This is what we say and this is what we mean. Now there have been governments that come up over the years to stunt our growth as a people. And the time has come when we will no longer accept that. We will not accept it. Listen, if we accept it, we are dead. And so we got to use all our life efforts to make sure that we remain alive and counted in the life as any other people on this planet. And more so as the senior, original, official, upfront people. The first people. Now, if anyone from any country, whether it be England, any part of Europe, or the Pope of Rome, that is carrying out this demise against us by influencing Africans to turn their back on us, well, I'm telling you, this year is 400 years. This year is 400 years. And if 400 years later, we want to make the same mistake as we made 400 years ago, we've got to more than wake up, man. We've got to come alive. We've got to come alive. We have to come alive. And if Europeans in Europe will not speak up for the rights, then we need them not. We don't need them. We don't need to beg England for anything because the things that they have there belong to us. We don't need to beg France because we keep food on France's table. Now, this is what we call Gambia. Over there, Senegal. One set of people. But you have two different European people in here separating families, and they continue to, as they talk about democracy. Democracy has become a political thing. While Africans are living democracy, these guys have it on their ballots. Without any apology to any guy. We have the rights. It's called inalienable rights, because when we were taken from these shores, we did not volunteer. We were dragged away against our will. We were taken from our lands, from our families. Why should we come and return on our own, by our own effort, to beg for a place on our mother's land? This is our place. And we are asking our brothers and our sisters here on the continent to continue to realize that the family has been broken and been broken for too long. To continue to make efforts that we can once again unite as a family. We are who we are. And we cannot change. We will not change. We won't change. We are meeting our brothers and sisters on solid, vertical grounds. We have to know that. And we are talking about our inalienable rights. Listen, a lot of people say that Africans cannot read. And it's not that we cannot pronounce words, but we have forgotten about the power of words. We get stuck in emotions. Of course, you will be feeling some emotions from me because that residue still lies in me. No, I realized before I came to Africa the first time, which is just recent, that this man, Tony Moses, cannot truly repatriate because I have been so damaged in the West that I will always carry those vibrations with me. But I do realize that my children that are born on the continent are the ones who are the repatriated ones. And we deserve the right to be repatriated, even if we have to do it on our own. Waiting on the United States, waiting on Europe, waiting on England, waiting on all those foreigners to bring us back is like waiting on them bringing back all those valuables that they have in their museums, and they won't. And we are no museum piece. We are living beings that has the right and the will to continue in life as we truly ought to. We are going to do what we got to do. And if this generation don't make it, then the other are going to make it. And when we do make it, it's going to be not too nice for those people who are keeping us separated. They always talk about corruption in Africa and the corrupted leaders in Africa. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to let you know corruption comes from a corrupter. And the corrupted is not anywhere bad as the corrupter. And people stay from far away and corrupt every single one, including our leaders. The corruption starts from the schools. So if we want to come to any sensible reality about who and what we are, we got to change that curriculum that is running around here. That is all festered up in English make-believe. We have an inalienable right to land. We have an inalienable right to land. No one can make any difference about that. Rights that cannot be surrendered, sold, or transferred to someone else. So you have some other people that you're supposed to be dealing with in the Constitution, which is the thing that guarantees, protect, and secure our inalienable rights as a people. I want to thank you all. There's so much to say, but the time is short. And as we continue these dialogues, I look forward to speaking with my family, my African continental family, along these lines more and more. Thank you very much.
Greetings, greetings, Gambian family. My name is Sister Shanice, and first and foremost, I am an African. Prior to any religion, prior to where I happen to be born, prior to any ethnic group or any nationality, first and foremost, I am an African. We are Africans first and foremost, wherever we may be in the world. And I'd like to thank all of my Gambian brothers and sisters for welcoming me back home. And I have had a very warm welcome from brothers and sisters here. I'm a presenter on a radio station called Galaxy Afiwi, the only de-brainwashing station. And it is an African-centered radio station based in the UK. And I have had the privilege of knowing Sister Juliet for decades, at least a decade. Sister Juliet, I can vouch for her, has been a staunch supporter and campaigner for all matters African for the longest. And it's her spirit, you know, that brings us all together here today. Thousands of Galaxy family listeners who have for decades now been listening to our radio station, calling on them to come back home to Mama Africa. And so it is very concerning that you know, now that our brothers and sisters are making the call, making the return from the UK and from America and the diaspora, that there is this draft proposal within the Constitution that potentially seems to damage the works that we have been doing for decades. Now, I've been getting a lot of calls from members in our community in the UK who have land here, who have built schools here, who have been building clinics here, who have been doing works here, and actually have plans to return here. People who have land here, yeah, but may not be here right now. They have been calling and they have been expressing their concerns about the draft proposals within the Constitution. We have been reassuring them, based on the works of Sister Juliet, that, you know, the proposal will be looked at, you know, sympathetically towards those of us who are returning. We are the children of your ancestors who were taken away from these shores 400 years ago. We are the children of your ancestors returning. We have, over the last 400 years, gone through the most awful, treacherous and unbelievable, brutal experience. But we never gave up hope of returning home. And I just want to rise up people like Bookman Dottie, a revolutionary who fought against our enslavement on the Caribbean, who was instrumental in rising up Toussaint L'Ouverture and people like Descendants in Haiti to overthrow the wicked enslavers there. The ones who inspired other revolutionaries to rise up in the Caribbean. I want to rise up people like Sam Sharp, Paul Bogle, Nanny of the Maroons, Taki, and Marcus Messiah Garvey. There are many, many unsung Africans who, when they landed in the Caribbean, didn't give up the fight to return home. There were many Africans who had their legs chopped off, their feet chopped off, for trying to escape and to return back home. There were many Africans who jumped overboard on those ships rather than to be taken as a slave. There were many Africans who fought and decided that they would rather die fighting a free man than live a life as a slave. Well, we are the survivors of those descendants. We are the survivors of those ancestors of yours who were taken away from these shores. It's been a mighty long journey finding our way back home. but we have found our way back home. And in the same way that the ordinary Gambian on the street have been receiving us, we are looking to the legislators, we are looking to the government and the politicians to also equally receive us back home. We are coming back as Africans, but we are also coming back as surveyors, as architects, as builders, as teachers, as business entrepreneurs. We are coming back with our skills, we are coming back with our talents, and we are coming back to share all of that with you all as Gambians. As has already been said, we're not coming back to take. When other people of other nationalities come here to the Gambia or any part of Africa, they are coming to exploit. They are coming to take the natural minerals and resources. They are coming to use the land to feed their people. They are coming to do their agriculture here, but it's not so that the people here can eat the food, it's so that their people on their lands can eat the fruits of this land. When our people come here to ship, we don't come here to take the fish away. No, not like some other nationalities do. Come to take your fish from in your seas to feed their people back home. No, that's not what your brothers and sisters are about. That's not what we, the descendants of your ancestors, are about. We are coming back home to support you, our brothers and sisters. 2 days ago, I had the privilege of addressing an audience of journalist students, and tragically, it was a somber mood because one of their students, by the name of Mariama Fati, without telling anyone or speaking to anyone, decided that she was going to pay the traffickers and go the back way. And sadly was one of the 62 or so Gambians that met her demise as a result of trying to go the back way. As has already been said, we are going to be bringing Western technology, Western way of life. If you want that, we can bring it. But you know what? What we're going to be bringing is far superior because it will have an African twist and an African edge to it. We don't want our children and our young people from here having to go the back way. That's not what we want for our people. Fortunately, in that class, by the time I'd finished, they were saying that I had inspired them. There was a young man who said that he was thinking of going the back way. He's no longer going to be going the back way. As a result of the session, he's thinking about what business he's going to be setting up here in the Gambia, because there are a multitude of opportunities here, and those of us coming from the West can see the opportunities, and we want to share that with you all. So we're coming with love, we're coming with peace, we're coming with everything that we've got to offer. The Europeans have had over 400 years to build this country if they wanted to build this country. They've had 400 years to build jobs for you all if they were coming to build jobs for you. They've had over 400 years if they were going to come and make life a better life for you. You've given them a try. Why not give your brothers and sisters from the diaspora the welcome back home that we deserve? When our ancestors were torn from these lands, when your ancestors were torn from these lands, they had land, they had family, they had their roots here. When we were taken to the Caribbean and elsewhere beyond those shores, we were torn away. Our roots were torn up from here and planted around the globe. But there are many of us who never forgot our roots, never forgot the family that we left back home. And from wherever we've been in the world, we've seen your suffering, we've heard your cry. You know, we are here to dispel the myth that the wicked, awful Western media has been portraying of this beautiful continent. And Sister Juliet has been doing an amazing job of dispelling the myth. And there are those of us with YouTube channels, One Love, One Mama Africa. We are here to help build and support One Love family.
We're just a small cross-section of the diaspora who are seated here today from the US, from the Caribbean and the UK, and we're deeply troubled by what's happening, and I'm deeply troubled. I'm having sleepless nights, and you know, I just like any questions you want to ask me. I'm happy to speak. Good evening.
Nelson.
Hello, Nelson.
I am from Foreign Newspaper.
Hi, Foreign Newspaper.
My question is, I want to ask, how do you trace your roots? Because we know during the slave trade, not all slaves were taken from the Gambia. They were slaves from different parts of Africa.
In fact, where you come from is an actual feeling. You've got to remember that more people go to Ghana than come to Gambia. You have a very, very, very small percentage of diasporans that come here. You don't have to worry about the floodgate principle here. Yeah, that's for sure. You've got no concerns. You've got a very small population, and your tourism isn't as developed as, for example, Jamaica's. Your infrastructure is not as developed as other islands either. So there's a lot of room for growth. So you should actually be looking to embrace what we contribute as opposed to seeing us as a threat. This is the wrong attitude, and it's a very neo-colonial attitude, and it's a very unwelcoming attitude, because you're not looking at the inward investment. What you're looking at is treating us as though we're foreigners, which we're not. In terms of scientific research now, all of our DNA, you can see wherever you come from, you can see strands of everywhere. Some of us are both from Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and Senegambian and Gambian, and we're also from other parts, Chad, and we have different percentages, just that maybe 60% of our DNA comes from the Gambia. But the question I want to rebounce back to you, what records did you keep? What did you do? Slavery was for 400 years and you couldn't write a book? We got our slave details from going to Kew, by going to the records that they have at the University of London in the UK. That facility is online and is available for anybody. You can trace your family surname down to the village or the country or the island that you come from. So we're able to trace where the ship debarked from. And in our case, the ship debarked from Gambia. So we can only assume that the people came from the Gambia. Our ancestors came from the Gambia, and our DNA says that we're from the Gambia. And in fact, Adama Barrow used to live in England, so I find that a little bit hypocritical.
Okay. It has discriminated many people, not only you guys.
Yes.
There are people living in the Gambia who are regarded as non-Gambians. I want to know, what is your step towards the CRC? Because when we are in Banjul, I think one group of people there make their comments that they are not aliens, they are Africans. They don't look like aliens. What is the step that you are taking towards that? Will you write a petition to the CRC? Or do you attend their meetings?
Here we are. That's exactly why we're here. This is why we've called this press conference, because as a collective of African descendants who were born outside of Africa, we are all going to the CRC tomorrow, and we've also been making submissions online. In terms of other people which are stateless or citizenless living here in the Gambia, I think the Gambia needs to look at other countries. You need to start going outside. You need to take a page out of the Book of Ghana, for example. You need to also take a book out of a page out of the Book of Sierra Leone. I'm going there this month, in fact, because Sierra Leone has paid my fare. They've welcomed me there, and so I'm going there on the 28th. So, in terms of Gambia is one of 54, 55 countries, and now let's take it into context of the AU. Gambia signed to the AU of the 6th state, and Gambia recognises all Gambians as the 8th state. Those are the Gambians which are outside in the diaspora. You recognise them as your 8th state, is that not right? Well, we are Gambians in the diaspora, but we're not recognised as your 8th state. This is discrimination. It's highly discriminatory. And we don't need this. What we need to do is build and come together. Listen, your former Prime Minister, and I'm going to say it, had the Roots Festival. I don't like to talk about politics, but I'm going to just go there right now. We were given automatic citizenship at the Roots Festival. Don't tell me it can't be done, because it was done for years. And we were welcomed here for years. He had our passports waiting and we were ready. And those people have come here, they have built schools. Those people that he made citizens, they have contributed to this community. They've contributed to this country millions and billions of the lassies. Those people that he made citizens are the people that have established schools, colleges, healthcare centres, and operate health initiatives right here today. So there are benefits to welcoming us as citizens. So far as other nations and other people, I can talk for me because I'm an African and I am a Gambian descendant, both by my family telling me so and my DNA. But the fact of the matter is, did we have to do DNA when we were being enslaved? Did we have to do DNA or sign any papers or wait 15 years before we were dragged off the shores and put in ships, force-fed, whipped, stripped and raped? Well, did we have to consider our DNA or how we are citizens of Africa or the continent when we were sold into slavery in the Caribbean and made to slave for cotton in America? When our children were abused and ripped from our mother's stomachs, were we? How dare you? How dare you? It's an insult to us and our African ancestry. How dare you?
Overlook us.
Overlook us, ignore us, and pretend we don't exist. We exist. We are you and you are us. There is no difference.
As I said,
your DNA is my DNA is your DNA. And we're here today because our ancestors brought us back.
As I was saying, sorry. And as I was saying, we that got taken away have a right to come and settle anywhere on the motherland. Our case is different. I mean, no disrespect to other people that come here, probably from other African states. They're still African descendants and they could have citizenship. We're in the West. We wasn't choose to be there. We were dragged there. And that is what we're saying. If I ask Gambia today, what have you done to get your people back from the West? What would your answer be? Nothing. That's the question. You go and write a constitution and leave us out of it. Don't you expect we're going to come back home? If someone kidnaps your child out of your house, you're going to close the door when they're coming back, or you're going to leave the door open for him to come back? We are coming back home. We are different. Our ancestors got taken away. Never had a choice. So don't come insult us now. That's what I was saying in one of my previous videos. No paper could define us. Our skin color is Africa.
It's my passport
that
right
is who
here.
We are, African. And if we choose Gambia because we love Gambia, we have a right to be here. And who want to go to Ghana have a right to go there. You know, because we're going to ask Africa, what have you done to accommodate us that was taken? Against our will. Our foreparents, they was living here. They had a normal life here. Your foreparents could be my foreparents. Could Gambia tell me who my foreparents was that was taken in that boat? Which West African country could give us an update of how many slaves was taken away? None. So why come in with this now?
My final question.
Yeah.
With regards to the government, I'm sure the discrimination will come to an end someday, sooner or later, if they consider as Gambians, despite you're not catered for in the constitution. But I'm so, this is a draft constitution.
I know.
Yes. My question is, have you ever engaged the government with regards to your conditions? Because you are Africans and you need to come back home.
I've spoken to Amy Bojang, I've been to see the Minister of Trade, I've seen the Minister of Tourism, I was with the Ambassador at Large for Investment, Management and Business. I've spoken to Ibrahim Basanko, I think he's the spokesman for the President. I've been to the State House. I've seen Jibril Adama. We've spoken to, who was around last night? Dahaba, who said that he would as well. We've been to the President's brother's naming ceremony, spoken to his family, his driver. We even interviewed his nephew from Maja. Yeah? What more do you want me to do? I've been to, what do you call it, immigration. I've been to, you know what they asked me? They asked me to prove how many years I lived here for. I told them I've been coming back and forth You know why? Because we had to survive. Because everyone thinks that we live in with streets paved with gold in England. We had to do 3 jobs to survive. We had to keep ourselves warm. We lived in the cold. Bill after bill after bill after bill after tax after tax after tax. Do you know how long we've had to wait to get out? Do you know how hard it is for us to get out? Do you know how many of us can't even get out because we can't afford to? We don't have the money you think you have when you go to England. It doesn't work like that. I interviewed a beautiful presenter, Senabo, from GRTS yesterday, and she said to me that she worked in a sports shop and she got £1,000 a month. And she said it like it was big money, like 80,000 dollars. I was like, listen, that couldn't even pay. That couldn't even go anywhere near paying my mortgage, my bills. We couldn't even survive on that. And we couldn't even afford to buy a $7 tapalapa after that. That's the reality that we face. Everybody that I know that lives in the West, except for one person who I can't mention, lives in debt. Lives in debt from month to month, from bill to bill, from paycheck to paycheck. And that's the reality. So don't think that life is so great. Why do you think you have an influx of working class people coming on cheap holidays here to the Gambia? You think they're rich? You think they're living off their credit cards, their debit cards, and their loan money to come here on holiday? That's what's happening.
The point I'm making is that we need to have it, it's on the table. And all we're asking at this stage is that you don't put forward what you're putting forward at the moment, but you consider what we're saying, you consider what we're putting forward, and it has been put to you. It has been put to you in writing. It is on the table. And if you come to the meeting tomorrow, that's going to take place in the morning, you'll see further evidence of that as well. So we're not just saying it, we put it forward to you. And it's up for you to either agree or not agree. But don't let it go the way it's going at the moment. Because if it does go the way it's going at the moment, there are no winners in this. We will lose and you will lose at the same time. And that's what I have to say regarding to your question.
In terms of saying that, we actually, in 2000 and, when did we meet with the mayor? I think it was 2016. Actually, we met with the mayor in 2016, and we ran a campaign here. So this isn't anything that hasn't. We also started from 2013, 14, 15, 16 is when we actually were supposed to have an audience with the then government, but it didn't happen. So this has been a long, hard, arduous struggle, not just by Bla Xit, but by many, many other groups and representatives all over the Gambia. I am one of many, and I'm sure you've seen many others on the television and in the media. So we're asking for it automatically because we believe that is the only solution that can help us right now. So if, for example, Section 257 and 258 is voted in, if we are given automatic citizenship, His Excellency Adam Barrow can hear our call and can acknowledge what our requests are. If he can acknowledge what our requests are and at least give us automatic citizenship, then Section 257 and 258 will not affect us as African descendants, Gambian descendants. And that's what we're asking for. And we've been doing this for a long time. And in fact, let me just say this. I'm only talking about the groups that I've been involved with, but there are many, many people. Master P, isn't it? He was here before. He was doing it for about 40 years. Mama D, she was doing it for about 30 odd years. And the gentleman that just passed that I met, a tall fellow, he was doing it for about 40 years. So, you know, we're standing on the shoulders of our ancestors, and these people still live here. But you know what it is? They feel exhausted. They're tired. They just feel like they're just being ignored. And many people feel like they're being ignored. And it's a shame, really, because Gambia is a very progressive country, and Gambia has everything, you know, and all the resources it needs in its people. To take things further, but you know, and not but if and when you realise our potential and our value, that is when you realise that together we can make Gambia great.
I'm working with the Point newspaper.
Sorry, thank you.
First of all, I have to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I say welcome back to Africa, welcome back to Gambia, and welcome back to motherland.
Thank you.
Because in this country, what we actually need is people outside, especially Gambians who are outside, to come back and develop this country. Because we don't expect other people from other countries to come and develop this country. So if people have the objective of coming back to this country and develop this country, so actually, definitely, people will be very glad on that. You see, so for instance, what I want to ask is, if you are given citizenship, what are your next plans in terms of contributing to national development?
On my personal level, because I can't speak for everybody, but what I can say is in terms of BlaXit, and I can also hand the mic to Kwesi, who deals with our business management side of things. But on a personal level, it really includes the development of tourism here. And that is one of my dreams, is to have like 5 hectares of land with the best slides, and to employ about 1,000 Gambians in the process. And I have investors that are quite happy and welcome to do that. And we would invest in definitely doing the feasibility for that. And I have spoken to the tourism minister about that also. In addition to that, many, I think, training facilities need to be done here to increase and develop certain areas of IT and technology that we'd like to see here. And I've been to see Usman Bar, and he has got a great facility down there in Kaiba Avenue, the IIHD Centre. We also went to Disruptive Labs with Malik and his wonderful wife, and we was at the launch, and we want to see those facilities established and extend that training by giving inward investment. So there's a number of aspects, also farming and agriculture. One of the things we want to do and to establish here in the Gambia that we think is very, very important is grow what you eat and eat what you grow, in order to reduce the amount of products that are actually imported into the Gambia. We're more interested in Gambia now exporting the cashew nuts, the peanuts. So we're looking at agri-processing and processing. We're working with large organisations which have substantial funds, like I said to you, the Diasporan Development Fund, which is based within Washington DC and also within the AU. So these are a lot of the organisations that we're connected with that would then open their doors. If Gambia opens its doors, they open their doors. That's how it works. It's, you know, it's a mutual relationship that has to be born. And basically, I'm not the only one, like I said, who has investments outside of this country that would gladly divest them and reinvest them here. And so we've been doing that already. We've bought millions here already, and we've built a 4-bedroom house. We've employed, you know, probably since we've been here, well over 20 people in total, you know, and so I think that if more of us come, then there's more opportunities. And I also know that developing and working alongside Gambians has been the best thing that I've ever done. But I'm going to pass the mic over to Matthew to talk about his businesses, and also to Kwesi, because it's important that you realise that contribution.
As I said, our initial investment into the country in the second week I was here was 22 million. That showed the commitment to the country. Since I've been here, we've employed a vast number of people, and we've made resources available to them in terms of learning, in terms of skills that they've not had before. And what's testimony to that is that we have a going concern that not only involves ourselves, but also involves Gambians generally, in terms of them working there, in terms of them contributing to it, and in turn contributing to their families. I think your question is, what do we have for the future? I think not just me, but many people who want to come here, they have a lot of ideas, and ideas that, you know, if I go to Serekunda Market, what do I see? If I go to Serekunda Market, I see one man selling scarf, and they see the next man next to him selling scarves, and the next man next to him selling scarves. So I can go through maybe 6 sellers before I see somebody selling something different. And then when I see something different, then I see another 6 sellers selling the same thing again. I think what you have, if you allow it, is people who genuinely want to come here and do things in a different way. They do things in a different way and they contribute their ideas, and you'll find that the country will grow with it. You know, you can have ministers saying, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Most countries develop from the small man who grows. And when he grows, the country grows with him. And if that man comes through with a fresh idea, then all it does is flourishes, and then other people can see a different way of doing what they're doing. So in terms of what we contribute for the future, I think in the minds of most people who come to this country, they have a lot of skills that they would put to the country. And I think that skill set and that knowledge is what will contribute for the future. And that's a vast array of different things. So it's not for me to say what I'm doing. I think it's what people will do if you give them that opportunity. And all we're asking is an opportunity to see us as part of you.
Yes.
And if you see us as part of you, and if you give us that freedom to do what we need to do, I think you'll benefit from it. I think that's where we're at. Basically.
Okay, in terms of our contribution and what we'll do once we get citizenship, I mean, we've already are wholeheartedly committed to the return and repatriation of the mother continent. You know, that would only solidify our mission, which is to bring more people. Juliet works tirelessly. I mean, she's up, you know, late night making it happen, you know, because her, like many of us, we know that this is the right thing. I mean, it's just the time. It's a consciousness, it's an awakening. You know, it's time for us to build. We want to make cities here like New York. We want to make cities here like Atlanta. We want to make cities here like Las Vegas, Nevada. That's what we want to bring here.
As I said, our initial investment into the country in the second week I was here was 22 million. That showed the commitment to the country. Since I've been here, we've employed a vast number of people, and we've made resources available to them in terms of learning, in terms of skills that they've not had before. And what's testimony to that is that we have a going concern that not only involves ourselves but also involves Gambians generally, in terms of them working there, in terms of them contributing to it, and in turn contributing to their families. I think your question is, what do we have for the future? I think not just me, but many people who want to come here, they have a lot of ideas, and ideas that, you know, if I go to Serekunda Market, what do I see? If I go to Serekunda Market, I see one man selling scarves, and they see the next man next to him selling scarves, and the next man next to him selling scarves. So I can go through maybe 6 sellers before I see somebody selling something different. And then when I see something different, then I see another 6 sellers selling the same thing again. I think what you have, if you allow it, is people who genuinely want to come here and do things in a different way. They do things in a different way and they contribute their ideas, and you'll find that the country will grow with it. You know, you can have ministers saying, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Most countries develop from the small man who grows. And when he grows, the country grows with him. And if that man comes through with a fresh idea, then all it does is flourishes, and then other people can see a different way of doing what they're doing. So in terms of what we contribute for the future, I think in the minds of most people who come to this country, they have a lot of skills that they would put to the country. And I think that skill set and that knowledge is what will contribute for the future. And that's a vast array of different things. So it's not for me to say what I'm doing. I think it's what people will do if you give them that opportunity. And all we're asking is an opportunity to see us as part of you.
Yes.
And if you see us as part of you, and if you give us that freedom to do what we need to do, I think you'll benefit from it. I think that's where we're at. Basically.
Okay, in terms of our contribution and what we'll do once we get citizenship, I mean, we've already are wholeheartedly committed to the return and repatriation of the mother continent. You know, that would only solidify our mission, which is to bring more people. Juliet works tirelessly. I mean, she's up, you know, late night making it happen, you know, because her, like many of us, we know that this is the right thing. I mean, it's just the time. It's a consciousness, it's an awakening. You know, it's time for us to build. We want to make cities here like New York. We want to make cities here like Atlanta. We want to make cities here like Las Vegas, Nevada. That's what we want to bring here. We want to, you know, why does Africa have to have second-hand goods? Why can't we have products that we're manufacturing ourselves? You know, why can't we manufacture cars ourselves? Why can't we have a newness here in Africa? So that's what's going to happen. It is going to happen because it's the time for that. You know, we need to, you know, we want to create multinational businesses with our Gambian brothers and sisters.
He handles our blockchain management, tell them.
Currently we have over 217 people over the past about 6 weeks that are looking to sell everything they have to come over and invest in Africa. Some people said they've never been here before. They said, hey, we want to sell everything and come over and invest in Africa, invest in the people. Now, you really have to take a look at it. You got to look at the people who are currently in Africa making money, and are they investing in the people? Do they have the willingness to come over, a true desire really to help build infrastructure, or do they come to take? But that is not the case with us. We are coming to work, to integrate into our society. This is our Africa. This is our Africa. Break down the borders in your mind. Stop seeing us as different. We in the diaspora, we must stop seeing Africa and seeing our African brothers as different. We are one people.
It's the inspiration for the youths in Gambia and the youths across Africa to do what they can for self, to invest in themselves and to use their minds to develop their dreams and their hopes and their aspirations. That is what I would like to see offered from my perspective, so that you don't have boatloads of children turning over in the Atlantic and going to a watery grave trying to get to some place where they're going to look for life outside of Africa when Africa has so much to offer. I thank you.
I would like to thank the media for making it possible today to come out and hear the story. You know, and I also would like to thank the Gambian brothers and sisters that welcome us to the Gambia. You know, because the welcoming was great, and we also love our brothers and sisters here in the Gambia. Even those in the government that are making decisions, we love them too. They are our blood. You know, the same blood run through us is the same blood run through them. So I just want them to just carefully consider us and treat us as their brothers and their sisters. When we come here, our money stays here. We don't come here to get our money out to send it back anywhere. When we reach here, our money that we invest here stays in the Gambia. Unlike other races, they come and they take the money out of Gambia and they send it back to their country. We bring in our money here and it stays here.
Yes.
It don't go nowhere. All right? So thank you all for coming.
Thank you all.
Yep, thank
and
you.
I just want to say thank you. I just want to say an independent quick thank you to Sadhu, Badu at the Standard, Institute Toure, Gambian Talent, and also to Adama as well. So I'd like to say thank you to Mamadou Bajang, it's the handwriting, I'm sorry. African Citizen Radio Online. I would like to say thank you to Najay, Bolade, am I saying it right? Diabalde at the point. I'd like to say thank you to Adama Masuba at the Fatu Network and also The Voice. And I want to say thank you to Nilion Mamel at the Foyar newspaper, Nafatu camera for Paradise TV, and thank you to Harona Drame for your support as always. Thank you to QTV as always for your support. And thank you to Hussein Jallo, and thank you to Sambu at GRTS, and also to Sarjar at GRTS also, and thank you to Ade at QTV and Mr. Tonkara. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And last but not least, I want to say a man to come over here. His name is Kiffa. Kiffa? Where is he?
I'm here.
I can't see you.
I'm here.
Come here. Kiffa, come here. Kiffa arranged this in really short notice and has pulled you all together here today. So I just want to, say on behalf of BlaXit, we appreciate your hard work and thank you to all of the media. This is an example of us working with Gambians. We are Gambians, but Gambians working together from the diaspora and the Gambians here, effectively to make a change for the future. So I just want to thank you in front of all the press for making this happen today, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. That's a wrap. Now there's some food.
Have a happy birthday, if it's your birthday, a good life, and if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, comment down below, share
And subscribe.
and subscribe.
Thank you so much.